everyone, registered dietitian from Tacoma, Washington. Today we are going to be cooking a coconut lime rice with mango and red beans. Here are my ingredients. We've got brown rice, coconut milk, some low sodium red beans, mango of course, some limes, shallot, fresh ginger. We're gonna use some green onions for our garnish. Vegetable broth, or in my case, I'm gonna be using a vegetable bouillon, and salt and oil. Since my recipe is a coconut lime rice, the oil I'm choosing is coconut oil. So we just need 2 teaspoons and we're gonna add that to the pot. And I'm using this to saute my shallots and some ginger. And so we get a really fragrant rice. I'll let that melt. And while that's melting, I'm going to chop our shallot. You can dice up to a cup of shallot if you really like shallot. I just have these 2 little nuggets, so I'll use whatever this produces. Cut off the end just like we would for an onion so we can peel the skin. I got my shallot peeled. Now we're going to chop it. So I do little ribbons and then I cut lengthwise and I get the perfect dice. So I got a nice rough chop. This probably produced about a half a cup of shallot. So if you want to do a cup of shallot, go ahead and get 2 nice, really big cloves. Our coconut oil is definitely melted by now, so I'm going to add this to the pot. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is sizzling. Look, guys, they're burning. Shallots are related to onions, so if you have sensitive eyes, I would recommend getting some chopping goggles. Chopping goggles are just swimming goggles. That's all that you wear during chopping. That was what I was known for back in college. I've got a nice piece of ginger root, and I'm just tearing off the nubs to get an idea of how much a tablespoon would be. And I need 1.5 tablespoons, so I'm just gonna tear off all those little nubs. Now, my trick to peeling ginger is to actually take a spoon and to hold it in your hand, and it just peels the skin right off. If you use a knife, you'll probably end up getting a lot more than just the skin off, and it's like, hey, I want some ginger left after I peel the bad boy. So the spoon is such an easy hack. Now, theoretically, I could have peeled the entire ginger root and then chopped it off. But once you take off the skin, you've lost the protective layer. So you need to use that ginger or store it in like an airtight container with a little bit of water because it will dry out and it'll get stringy and then you won't be able to use it. Chop up my ginger, add it to our hot pot. Y'all, this smells so good, I can't even describe. 2 cups of brown rice. I rinsed it really, really well about 3 times until it ran clear. So I'm just gonna add this to our pot with the ginger and the shallots. This is canned coconut milk. It's important for this recipe that you use the full fat coconut milk, not the light coconut milk, because it's not gonna give it that same creaminess that you need. And before you open your cans, make sure you wipe off the top to get rid of any of that dust because the lid will likely fall into the can. So you can see all that cream that's sitting on top, that's what we want. This is another reason why you don't want to use the refrigerated carton of coconut milk. It won't have that cream. If you have vegetable broth at home, you can go ahead and use that. I don't. I have Better Than Bouillon. And so for using this, we just need a teaspoon for every 8 ounces of water. This recipe calls for 2.5 cups, so we're gonna use 2.5 teaspoons of bouillon. And I got my water hot already, just to dissolve it a little better. Our rice has been toasting for 2 minutes, and so now is a good time to add the coconut milk and our vegetable broth. Since all of my ingredients are low sodium, the beans, the broth, I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple pinches of salt to the water and then put the lid on the rice and on a boil for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna reduce it to a simmer for about 40 minutes. Now it's time for the fun part. Since we're featuring stone fruit, this recipe's stone fruit is a mango. With your mango, you wanna make sure that you see some yellowing. If it's all green, it's not right. Let's see how this guy turns out. To chop our mango, we're gonna slice until we find the pit. And we wanna try to slice alongside of the pit so that the pit is left in the middle and we've got the flesh on the outside. Okay, so I sliced too close to the pit. I need to slice a little bit further out. There we go. Now I've got the cheeks of the mango. There we go. So I've got some 2 mango cheeks. With the rest of my mango, I have the pit and I can just peel off the skin. It smells good. It feels ripe. It looks ripe. I think we made a good call by cutting into it. So you might take a smaller knife or a paring knife if you have one and try to cut the rest of the flesh off that's really close to the pit. I like to just save this for a snack. To cube my mango, I like to go in slices here. And then cross hatch for diced mango. Here's the best part. We just fold it outwards. And now we've got perfect cubes. So I can take my knife along the skin and the cubes just slide right off. How nice is that? Here's my mango, it's all nice and chopped. We will add this to the pot of rice at the end along with our beans and the lime. Now you gotta make sure that your beans have been drained and rinsed, so mine are, those are good. The next thing we can do while our rice is cooking is to juice our lime and roll it with the palm of your hand before you slice it. We want to also zest this lime. You're only trying to zest the top part of the lime to get the outermost green portion. We don't want to get any of the white pith, that will be bitter. And since we're zesting our lime, it's important to choose organic. We do most of the spraying on our conventional products on the outsides of these plants. And so when we don't use organic, we are then taking in those pesticides and herbicides. And the skin is the protective layer of the plant. So that's where it's going to hold on to all those chemicals. And now we've got zest. When a recipe calls for zest, use the zest. Now we're just gonna juice it. If you've got a juicer, that'd be even easier. I'm just gonna juice it in my palms. Another tip you can use to get your limes and lemons extra juicy is to pop them in the microwave for a few seconds. That'll get the juices flowing. And the last step is to dice up our green onion. So I have 2 little green onions. I'm gonna cut off the bottoms, the little white frilly parts, and give them a nice dice. This will serve as a garnish for our rice. And while you're waiting for your rice to cook, go ahead and clean up your kitchen and it will be done before you know it. Our coconut rice is done. I fluffed it, I mixed it, and we've got a lot of it. I'll transfer it to a bowl. I'm just gonna start with about half. Add in my beans, add in my mango and my lime zest and my green onion. And about half of my lime juice. So I like to taste as I go. Oh, that looks beautiful. I like this ratio. I think I'm gonna leave it with this and I'll make another batch with the rest of my rice. There you have it, folks. A little bit of coconut lime rice with red beans and mango. Let's taste. Need a little bit of everything, of course. Mmm. This is really, really flavorful. Okay, 10 out of 10. Love it. Can't wait for you to try it. Until next time.